Fall fashion can feel overwhelming. Every brand is dropping new collections, and TikTok has a new trend every week. So today, I'm cutting through the noise and showing you fall fashion trends that are actually worth paying attention to, from Japanese fashion to Gorp 3.0, all the way to retro suede runners. So let's jump into trend number one, military-inspired jackets. Flight jackets took center stage this season from brands like Sacai, Aura Lee, Prada, and Saint Laurent. Even I've noticed popping into stores recently the influx of military-inspired jackets, a lot of them featuring chevron-style chest or waist pockets, even some with a full zip-up collar, which you would typically see on a field jacket. But the best part about this trend is how wearable it is. A shearling bomber instantly elevates a simple jeans and t-shirt combo, while a leather aviator jacket adds that rugged vibe without trying too hard. You can dress them down with sneakers or make them more polished with boots. COS has some really great options at the moment for some decent prices. Quality always holds up in my opinion, and you can never go wrong with Alpha Industries, who has legit roots in supplying military-grade clothing since the early 60s. And for some affordable options, I've seen some decent ones at Zara. We are in a Gorp 3.0 era with a bit of a recent boom in technical outerwear. Brands like Sacai, Rick Owens, Junya Watanabe, and Emporio Armani featured this style plenty in their fall-winter 2025 show. We saw jackets with a sportier look that feature more pockets and toggles with a large weather protection element. Now, why are we seeing this resurgence? Well, fashion is always a reflection of the global conversation, and maybe in lieu of recent natural disasters, this type of technical clothing is almost a suggestion of future dressing. Combine that with the increase in popularity of brands like Solomon and Arc'teryx. In fact, despite a slowdown in the global fashion market, both brands, who are owned by the same parent company, by the way, are growing rapidly. These are the items I think are worth buying, and I'll be sure to link as many as I can in the description. Let's get the obvious out of the way. An Arc'teryx Beta LT jacket and Solomon XD6 sneakers are a safe place to start, but I'm sure a lot of you are already ahead of the game. If you want to be a bit different, check out the brand Roa for sneakers, and don't sleep on Nike ACG for shell jackets. Uniqlo actually makes a really nice, affordable block tech parka in their latest Uniqlo C collection in a number of different colors. I have one and highly recommend. But the item that I am most into are hiking boots. My go-to brand is DMA. They are just so incredibly dope looking and easy to style. They sell out pretty quickly too, so now is a great time to buy. And speaking of technical outerwear, a lot of innovation we're seeing actually traces back to Japanese designers like Ann Wander, Yohji Yamamoto, and Undercover. Japan has had a massive influence on the global fashion market for years, but in 2025, it feels more mainstream than ever. One of the reasons for that is social media. Content creators have been showcasing their trips to Tokyo, denim shop tours, and reviews of Japanese goods, which has made these pieces way more accessible to a global audience. What's interesting is that it's not just the futuristic technical side of Japanese fashion that's trending. We're also seeing a huge appreciation for the classics. Pieces like Selvedge Denim, workwear-inspired jackets, and chore coats are becoming staples in modern wardrobes. They're timeless, built to last, and they fit perfectly into the buy better, wear longer mindset that's shaping men's fashion right now. Let's talk about specific clothing items. If you didn't know, we are in one of the biggest raw Selvedge denim resurgences since the early 2010s. For an investment piece, New York-based brand 316 have their classic straight selvage jeans, or for something more authentic, there's the Sugarcane Okinawa, and for an affordable option, there's Naked and Famous. I recommend the Strong Guy fit. And in terms of styling, one thing I have definitely seen a lot of this year is the raw denim matching set, which is definitely a vibe. One of the biggest shifts this season has been how men are leaning way harder into accessories, not just functional items, but personal statements. Take Jacob Elordi, for example. He's pretty much becoming the poster boy for men carrying it bags. At the 2025 Venice Film Festival, he stepped off the plane with that huge Bottega Veneta tote bag. In fact, every time he steps out in a bag, it seems to make headlines. And new to 2025, at least on my radar, are bag accessories like keychains and charms. I'm sure we've all seen people putting Labubus on their handbags. I personally skipped that trend, but as you all know, I love and wear handbags as much as possible, no matter how many comments I get otherwise about me wearing a purse. And let me be clear, I'm not suggesting that in order to take part in this trend, you have to buy a designer handbag. In fact, it's actually quite thriftable. But if you are looking for something new, one of my favorite local brands, Simon's, has some great options for very reasonable prices. We are talking genuine leather, made in Italy for under $200. So I'll be sure to link my favorites in the description. Another one of my favorite and one of the most popular trends of the last few years is the rise in popularity of a more elevated style for casual wear. The pendulum really swung from in-your-face streetwear to a more understated, minimalist aesthetic that focuses on proportions and fit over brand names and logos. And despite things trending in this direction for the past few years, fall/winter 2025 is no different. Classic tailoring was seen by designers like Dior Homme, Saint Laurent, and Lanvin. Items like top coats, double-breasted jackets, chunky cardigans were seen in a big way. Even ties have been used as a popular accessory for both casual and formal dress. A$AP Rocky, in my opinion, is one of the very best in terms of using this accessory effectively, so definitely turn to him for inspiration. But the most important clothing item that has come from this trend is definitely the relaxed fit pleated trouser. In many ways, they've become the new blue jeans in terms of the frequency of which people have been wearing them, and also the way people have been wearing them with a plain white t-shirt. I think that speaks on the versatility of the item as well as how easy they are to dress up and down. It seems like every single brand now has their own version of this item. A gray level pickup is definitely from a brand like Studio Nicholson, but if you want to save your pockets, Uniqlo recently dropped a denim pleated trouser from their latest Uniqlo C collection, which comes in 3 different colors. I have them and I highly recommend. Another big footwear trend this fall is the rise of retro suede runners with thin soles. Think sneakers like the Puma Speedcat, Prada Monte Carlo, or even New Balance's new 204L. This trend really started from that early 2000s revival we've been seeing across fashion. Fashion houses like Prada have been focusing really heavily on this silhouette with their collapsed sneaker and the retro of the Monte Carlo. However, I really do believe Puma have made this trend mainstream with the popularity of the Speedcat, and I think that they deserve all the praise. For many years, Puma have put out a lot of average sneakers, but this one has been a massive hit for the brand. Now it seems like almost every brand has their own offering. One of my favorites is the New Balance 204L. This shoe is fantastic for the price. Quality and comfort is good. Not quite made in USA quality, but works very well. But the colorways so far have been great, and for $110, you can't go wrong. Another one of the most popular and equally unexpected footwear trends of the year are hybrid sneakers. Some examples include sneaker loafers, ballerina sneakers, and mule shoes. I think this trend came about purely based on the demand for new designs. With the sneaker industry taking a bit of a dip post-COVID, I think a large portion of sneakerheads wanted something different. I mean, even speaking for myself, there's only so many Air Jordan 1 colorways that one person can have. And then brands like New Balance dropped the 1906L, featuring a sneaker outsole with a loafer upper. It was picked up by all the blogs, and whether you're like me and you love the shoe or you absolutely hate it, people are talking about it, which is kind of the most important part. There's also ballerina sneakers featuring a ballet shoe design with a sneaker sole. Of course, Bad Bunny has released multiple versions with Adidas. I think these also represent a trend in the popularity of unisex clothing. I'm sure we've all seen videos of men shopping for clothes in the women's section and vice versa. There's countless other examples of hybrid designs that have risen in popularity with the undertone that people want something unique and different. What clothing items are you most excited to wear this fall? Let me know in the comments. And if you're interested in learning about some of my picks for the worst fashion trends of the year, check this video out right here, and I'll meet you guys there.